Here's a question for you. Very simple question, actually. What is the goal of guard passing? Now, I can already hear some of you guys out there saying, bro, the goal of guard passing is to get past the guard. And yes, I know that. But what does that mean exactly? What does it mean to pass the guard? Stay tuned. Hey guys, so I started by asking a really simple question. What is the goal of guard passing? Are there a set of objectives that we can quantify that when met will determine whether we successfully pass the guard? And I think there are. I think guard passing at its most fundamental level involves two things. If you do these two things well, you will get past people's guards and you will be able to retain the new position after you pass the guard. If you don't do these two things well, or you only do one of those two things, you're not going to be able to get past people's guards. So what are those two things? Well, before I tell you what those two things are, let me acknowledge that this is an oversimplification of guard passing. It might be a gross oversimplification, but I think for people that are new to jiu-jitsu, maybe white belt, even blue belt, sometimes having a very simplified view of what needs to happen can be immensely valuable. Guard passing is a very complex skill. Guard retention is a very complex skill. And as you get better at passing the guard using a myriad of different ways, your training partners are going to get better and better and better at retaining guard. And so it becomes kind of like a nuclear proliferation situation where you're getting better, they're getting better. And you can really get into the weeds on guard passing. You can, develop gripping systems. You can, learn how to apply pressures, how to, push, pull, block, etc. But that can be overwhelming if you're new to jiu-jitsu. If you're a white belt, if you're a blue belt, maybe even a purple sometimes, that level of complexity tends to make the process even harder. So in my view, sometimes it's good to really extrapolate the essence of what it is you're trying to accomplish, and then you can focus on that essence. Then the solutions can be assembled on the fly. So guard passing, in my opinion, involves two things. What are those two things? Number one, getting past the knee line. You have to get past at least one of the knees, sometimes both knees, sometimes one knee. I think of it as a knee line, which is an imaginary line that bisects your training partner's knees. And number two, once you're past the knee line, you have to be able to close the distance and secure the position. Okay? That sounds really simple. Get past the knees, close the distance, secure the position. And it is very simple conceptually. So what I'd like to do is jump over to the dojo, and I'm going to give you a whole bunch of examples of guard passes. There are really only four ways to pass the guard. There's four categories of ways to pass the guard. You can either go around the legs, you can go through the legs, you can go under the legs, or you can go over the legs. All guard passing, all systems of guard passing generally fall into one of those four categories. Sometimes they combine, but generally you're either going around the legs, through the legs, under the legs, or over the legs. And so what I'd like to do is give you a whole bunch of examples of guard passes and show how those two fundamental goals apply: getting past the knee line and closing the distance so you can secure the position. This is not a guard passing tutorial. I'm not going to teach you how to pass the guard. I'm just going to show a whole bunch of examples off the top of my head of ways that you can get past the guard, pretty common ways, and how that goal structure applies so that we can become more successful passing the guard. Check it out. Okay, let's talk about going around the leg first. This is Ryan, by the way, my good friend, good training partner. All right. Really easy, simple guard pass, one of my favorites. I'm going to find the knee, find the hip, and I'm going to flank out and cut the angle. I've just achieved goal number one. I'm past the knee line. Now I've got goal number 2. I've closed the distance and secured the position. Okay, here's another example of going around the legs. Boom, I can step in, boom, hop, go to the Toriano guard pass. I've just crossed the knee line. I've achieved goal number 1. Now I need to achieve goal number 2, which in this case, I can do just by going to knee on belly. How about a leg drag? Get control of the leg, pop them up, come in, get control. This is goal number 1. I haven't got past the knee yet. What I can do is just rotate until I'm past the knee and then go to goal number 2, which is to close the distance and secure the position. All right, here's an example from butterfly guard. So I'm going to come in, control the position, smash to one side, kick out to release, and now I can start coming around. As soon as I'm past the knee, this is goal number 1 met. I can push back and secure the position. Here's another example, long step pass. I'm going to come out, cut the angle. I've just achieved goal number 1, which is to get past the knee line. Now I can close the distance and secure the position. All right, here's the same thing by going over the legs. I'm going to get control of the legs, pin them, hop over the top and pinch. I've just achieved goal number 1. Goal number 2, close the distance, secure the position. Another example of going over the legs, I'm going to get control of his ankles, hop up and over. I've achieved goal number 1, I'm past the knees, close the distance, secure the position. Okay, here's another example of going over the legs, although we're going to initiate by going around the legs. I'm going to drop my shoulder, control his legs, pop over and catch. Now I'm over the legs. I've achieved goal number 1, but I haven't secured the position until I can slide up and control it. Okay, through the legs. Classic guard pass. Pin the hips, get my knee up the middle, break the legs open, pin, slide over the top. Here's goal number 1 achieved. Boom, goal number 2. Here's another example, basic margarita pass. I'm going to step in, pressure him, begin my knee slide. I've achieved goal number 1. There's the knee. And I've achieved goal number 2. I've secured the position. Here's an example using an under the leg pass. Same basic setup. I open his guard. I move myself, get under his knee with my shoulder. This is goal number 1. I'm going to come up to pressure, sprawl. I've just achieved goal number 1. Goal number 2. Okay, double underpass, same basic setup, knee up the middle, I open, drop my elbows, get control of his hips. Boom, I can come up, roll him to one side. I've just achieved goal number 1. I'm past his knees. I need to close the distance and begin securing his back for goal number 2.
When we learn jiu-jitsu, generally we are learning move for move. What do I do if they do this? You do that. What do I do if they block me by doing that? You do this, right? And eventually you'll build up a pretty impressive catalog of techniques of jiu-jitsu. But I think it's very, very important to sometimes be able to extrapolate the fundamental goal that you're trying to achieve in whatever position you happen to be in, so that you don't get overwhelmed by the move for move situation. If your opponents are able to stop you using something that you don't have a direct solution for, at least if you understand the goal that you're trying to achieve, it becomes much, much easier to then improvise solutions and have success. So I hope this concept helps you. Again, if you're a brown belt, black belt, high purple belt, that sort of thing, this might be a little too simplistic for where you're at. You're probably in the meta game, the game within the game, the inner game. You're trying to solve very small dilemmas within these systems that you've developed, and this level of simplicity is probably not going to apply to you. But if you're a white belt, if you're a blue belt, and you're just trying to learn to pass people's guards, if you can simplify it, get past the knees, close the distance, secure the position. If you can focus on that, then I think you're going to have a lot more success initially. I hope this helps. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.